People asked if we set out to find a British director, and truthfully, that wasn't the primary reason why we chose Mike Newell. You know, we were looking for the best director for the job, and Mike Newell was the best director for this job. Yes, he's British, and there's no question he brings a particularly British bent to the piece. I think Hogwarts is more British than it has ever been. But he's also done a fantastic job in bringing a sense of school life as a whole to the film. It really, Hogwarts feels alive, really alive in this film. So that's very exciting. But why Mike Newell? There are a couple of reasons. First, he's a great director of comedy, For Weddings and Funeral and the likes. Very, very funny films. And this has some real humor in it, and I think is hopefully the funniest of the films so far. It's also, Mike is also has directed thrillers. You know, you look at Dance with a Stranger, which is sort of a dark, moody piece, and Donnie Brasco, and this is a thriller. The themes of the film are multifold. I think that this is a film in which Harry has to come to accept the fallibility of adults, and ultimately realize that he is the one who has to know, and he has to trust his ability to know what is right and what is wrong. That he can, you know, listen to others, but ultimately has to rely on his own opinion. It's also a film about friendship and the importance of friendship. This is a film in which we are for the first time exposed to these schools from other countries. And one of the things that Dumbledore is doing in this is encouraging international friendship, because in what lies ahead are dark things. Voldemort, the Death Eaters, the world as it was, 14 years ago. Those were not good times, and we're on the precipice of times again that could be like that. And the way to counter that is international unity, community. Rafe was always my first choice. Full stop. Ever since the beginning, I've thought of Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort. Voldemort has to be attractive. Ralph Fiennes is attractive. He has to seduce you. You have to understand why people were attracted to him, and yet he has to be the embodiment of evil. Ralph Fiennes brings the complexity, the coolness, the charisma that is Voldemort.
It's certainly, to my judgment, exciting. It's got wonderful set-piece scenes. There are dragons, and there are underwater terrors, and there's Lost in the Maze, and there is, of course, above everything else, there is the appearance of the true villain. There he is for the first time, actually in his own self, and up pops Ralph Fiennes doing the creature of ultimate evil, for which he is immensely well suited. So there are tremendous, big, exciting set pieces, which I hope will be for all ages. But it is a dark story, and they have, as you said, got darker, and this one is darker still. The story starts off Dan. He is not in the first scene, which in itself is a huge departure. But you do start with his nightmare. You start with a nightmare in which it's suggested that there is a terrible, murderous plot against him. But you, the audience, don't know what it is, nor will you if things go right. So that, of course, from then on, what you desperately want to do is to open that envelope. What did he mean? So it isn't the traditional opening, but I think is better for it, because you then go into this, as I say, this thriller story, which is very compelling and draws you on. Voldemort, creature of ultimate evil, has insinuated himself into the competition, so that at each stage, Harry, who is very surprisingly an entrant into the competition, isn't supposed to be because he's too young, but in some strange, threatening fashion finds that his name comes out of the hat. So there are now not 3, but 4 competitors. He, of course, is warned by everybody that this is bad news and that this may well end in his death, but there's no way round it. He has to compete. But as he gets through each of the tasks, so does he move a little closer to Voldemort's plan and purpose for him. It's gorgeous. I absolutely loved them coming in. There's a costume mistress who is part French, had the costumes of the girls made in blue silk, which just kind of floats all around them. And if part of the story is that you are dealing with the awakening of adolescent interest in girls and whatnot, then by God, that's a good. There's 12 good girls to be interested in. And then, of course, if you're a girl, there are these big, rough, tough Russian boys, that's the entrances of both of the schools are really sort of surprising. You don't expect them to be like that.